to welcome everybody here today, and a bit surprising that I'm even here. I'm in Perth, and the internet here has just decided to come back on in the last couple of minutes, and it decided to disappear for an hour and put me into a bit of a frenzy. So even the data on my iPad and iPhone wouldn't let me connect. So it might have been a telephone call or something, so I'm glad it isn't. So anyway, look, today's 8th of March, and it was my mum's birthday, and it's International Women's Day, Ray, and it's also the anniversary of the 10th anniversary of the disappearance of MH370. Probably a lot of eastern staters might not be totally attuned to it, but because it happened off the West Australian coast in the Indian Ocean 10 years ago, it's still vitally in our minds. And I did hear that the recovery team that attempted a recovery a few years ago that was unsuccessful has offered, I think the state government, might have been the federal government, another attempt coming up soon for the recovery or location anyway, even if they can't recover. And it's on a win-lose type situation. So if they're not successful, no one has to pay for their time and effort. So I would say by putting their money where their mouth is like that, they must be pretty sure where it is. That's all I can say, because it's a very expensive exercise to go out there into the depths and try and locate all the bits and pieces that would obviously be there. But
who's doing that, Jen? Who did you say?
The same company that was involved, because there's been many attempts at trying to find out where it went down and, you know, track its last path and things like that. And they've pretty well narrowed it down to an area pretty well directly west of between Perth and Geraldton, out towards Madagascar type way, not closer to Australia rather than Africa.
But are the Australians doing this or who?
I don't know who the company is owned by, but it's the same company that was involved in the recovery previously that wasn't successful. Okay. But they've got every man and his dog on it. So here's hoping, because there's, while I shouldn't say only, and I won't say only, there were 6 Australians on the flight, but it's the mysteriousness of its disappearance. And you wouldn't believe when it was announced that it had gone astray, I actually went onto the Flight Radar app on my iPad and I tracked it, and I was watching it, and I watched it disappear on Flight Radar. So I've sort of got, and because it's my mum's birthday and it's all connected, I sort of got this connection with it. Okay. So it was very strange. Lots of theories. Not quite sure. You know, everybody wants answers, I guess. Yeah, whether they'll get them this time or not, I don't know. But anyway, gives you a bit of an interest if you do see it in the news.
So Google says that under usnews.com that a proposed search is by Texas-based marine robotics firm Ocean Infinity. No fee.
That's okay. Right. I remember now. Yeah. So all good.
Thanks, Kate. Yeah.
So International Women's Day. When we used to put out the newsletters in PDF form and by email and attach them, I did a research once on International Women's Day. Is it celebrated very heavily in the eastern states? Because it pretty well is here.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. One for the ladies, Ralph. You've got to do this. So anyway, International Women's Day is a global day celebrating the social, economic, cultural and political achievements of women. The day also makes a call to action for accelerating women's equality. International Women's Day has occurred for well over a century, with the first International Women's Day gathering in 1911, supported by over 1 million people. Today, International Women's Day belongs to all groups collectively everywhere. It is not country, group, or organisation specific. And I had this really nice image to share with you before everything went south. And we were leaving Penang 4 years ago on International Women's Day, and the airport in Penang had the most exquisite floral arrangement in the shape of an 8 to celebrate the day. And I took a photo of it, and I've put it on my Facebook page, but I can't access it here to share it with you today. So apart from that, that's my blurb over. So we've got to get into holiday mode now.
Well, planning mode.
Yes, absolutely. We've got to have your brain thinking about holidays
Yes.
before you plan.
Yeah.
And I think destination is huge. And until all this went pear-shaped, I did have quite a few sites. I think if anybody's sort of taken a few holidays, you tend to be inundated afterwards with any number of emails promoting, you know, the best deal you can get wherever, 2 for 1 and all the rest of it. And it sometimes becomes a bit of a minefield to track through what you might think is a bargain. And, you know, there's no such thing as a real bargain, but sometimes there's some few specials. So what we thought we'd do is show you some things through the Be Connected portal, more in depth than we did last time. We just showed you the topic headings, but I thought what to do today is actually drill down and show you how Be Connected can demonstrate actual comparisons and how best. So for a show of hands or whatever, has everybody or has anyone ever actually planned their own holiday intricately, or do you just trot along to the supermarket, shopping centre, and have a travel agent do it for you? Don't all speak at once. Erith.
I planned 6 months overseas once on my, just me. So
Good on you.
We went round the world. I remember we saw a lot of countries, stayed in a lot of places, spent a lot of time on the internet. It was back in 2012, and my husband and I just retired. So yeah,
6 months. I thought I was doing well at 7 weeks. America, and from Walpole. That was an achievement in itself. But yes, lots of internet for sure. Yes. I'm impressed. That's excellent. So how did you manage it? With an Excel spreadsheet or a table, or did you use an app or what?
Good question. Good question. I think my husband had he had a hard copy calendar where he wrote a whole lot of stuff on it. We had different folders for each of our different destinations. And again, that was hard copy. I was quite okay just dealing with it all online. My husband at that point was very much still hard copies. So we had the two methods going. Not an Excel sheet. Never thought of an Excel sheet, but yeah, I didn't find it all that difficult because I've been doing our trips for years. Every time we went overseas, I was always organised.
Yes.
Never really went through ever a travel agent. So I was quite used to what needed to be done.
Yep.
It wasn't so easy. This is 12 years ago, so it wasn't as easy as it is today.
Exactly.
I think it took, a little bit more work than today. But so a few of those things were tours. We did one in Turkey. We were going to do one in Greece, and then we ended up doing that one on our own, and that was great. Really enjoyed that. doing it on our own. We just went and visited, I think, 5 of the islands and organised the ferry times and this, that and the other. And it was great. We could just spend however much time we wanted to in each of those places. I have my children and grandchildren live in London. So we spent time in London. My husband's French. So we spent a fair bit of time in France with the family there. So it wasn't all just travelling, but so we then went over and we did the east coast of Canada. We went up to Alaska and we caught a tour up at Alaska and went down through Alaska, then down a cruise down to Vancouver, and then we caught Rocky Mountain tour.
Yep.
Which was another one from where was it? One of the towns just outside of Vancouver.
Mhm.
But then I know we had a few complicated things from there onwards. We had to get from Vancouver to Hawaii. We had a 7-day cruise around the Hawaiian Islands, and there were a few problems with planes going that way. Because I was able to actually use, I remember I had, I think it must have been with Qantas. I used Qantas Travel, what did you call it, when you points and whatever. So that covered at least one of us to do this round the world thing. And then from Hawaii, we just came back to Sydney. But that's what made it complicated. That's right, because I did have to go through the Qantas people to be able to book the flights. You have to do that when you're using your points. And then I had to try and book the same flights for my husband and try and get him to sit next to me.
Yes, yes. Yes, yes. I haven't done it like that with loyalty points, but I have heard that it can get complicated, and you have to do it fair way in advance, because the airlines only allocate a certain number of seats for loyalty customers. Yeah. So, well, I think that's well done. Can anyone beat that? I thought as I said, I thought my 7 weeks America was pretty outstanding, but yes, it is amazing, really, what you can do, with a few technological skills, and I think, coming up with the best possible scenario for yourself. It might not be what everybody else wants, but it suits you really good. Yeah, excellent, excellent. So
I went around Australia with a group and we hired 2 4-wheel drives. We went up to Kununurra to Teak and we stayed there. We went everywhere.
Very good.
We sort of, but that was a few
did you
years
pre-plan
back.
that?
Yeah, I didn't do it myself. One of the girls did, and she did a great job. And she did use a few apps, whatever she used, and it all worked out well with where we had to stay as well. Like all the different areas we had and the roads, and it showed us which roads would be flooded and where we couldn't go if it came down, and where there'd be potholes. Well, you 2 guys would know that inside out and back to front. We were just like, oh, is that what happens? And the rain. It was all like to do with what the season was. I think we went around August or just that time. Yeah.
That would have been beautiful, cool, dry weather.
Yeah. And we went to these beautiful crystal clear springs, and we hired those flights, where you had 4 in an aeroplane, and went over you name them, I've forgotten, like all those mountain things that you've got there.
The Mitchell
Bungle,
Plateau.
bungle.
Yeah, we did the Mitchell Plateau. Yeah. But it was just
Bungle.
Bungles did that. Yep. we did all the touristy things, you know, like everything.
Very
And
good.
I think we did it for 2 weeks, full on. And we had we had the 2 4-wheel drives, and one of the guys decided he wanted to come with us on his motorbike. So we had the motorbike happening as well. And he got, I can tell you so many good stories. He got stuck in the mud.
Oh,
Unfortunately, we were able to pull him out. But yeah, but he only went, what's the name of that road? The great, what?
the Gibb River,
Gibb River Road.
Yeah, that one. We went up that one, and that's where he followed us, and we just made sure that he was okay too. So he wouldn't have done it on his own on a bike without us. Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Excellent.
So-
And did you stop off and have campfires at night and things like
Oh
that?
yeah, we did all that bit. Yeah,
Good,
yeah,
good.
yeah. We
Excellent.
went to one place. I have to tell you, I don't know how much time we've got, but we went to one spot, and there was a campsite, and we just wanted refreshments and like a dinner. So we get there, all ready to have something to eat. We go into the main area where we're going to eat, and they said, no, we can't have anything to eat, and we were starving. And they said, and we said, why? And they said, well, our chef, who's Indigenous, has just gone walkabout, and we've got no one. I've gone, all right.
You've got to be prepared for all sorts of things when you're up here.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I don't want to take any more time up, but
No.
yeah, that's a
Good.
holiday, another one. Yeah,
All
a
good.
local holiday. Yeah.
Excellent,
Yeah.
excellent.
But
It doesn't
has
really matter
anyone-
where, so long
No,
as,
that's
you know,
right.
it all works out. And if
Yeah.
you've, you know, it's good to share that you've used technology to do it yourself. I think there's a greater satisfaction when you actually get to a place and, you know, you've planned it maybe 6 to 9 months in advance, and it came down to the wire, to the minute, and it all fell into place. And you think, hallelujah, yes, you can. If you do that, you can do anything, I think. Yes, all good. So
Has
anybody
anyone
else got any stories they'd like to share before
any
we kick in?
particular apps that they use?
Mm.
I'm going to
Oh,
make
yeah.
a little list of useful apps on the side here, because I'm testing out all of the functions of Teams now. So I don't know whether you can all see the notes. Yes,
Yes.
Ken.
No.
Yeah, TripAdvisor is a good one.
Yep.
Simply because you can do reviews of places to stay at.
Yes.
And it gives you a good idea if you're sleeping near a railway line, or you know, you're beside a major highway, or it's beside a river where you've got barges going up and down all night, which happens
True.
in Perth.
Mhm.
So I'd recommend TripAdvisor as an excellent one.
And
I
the
actually
reviews
used,
are done by guests who
Yes.
utilize whether it's the accommodation or the transport or
Yeah.
whatever, and you know they wouldn't go to the trouble of putting it up if they, you know, didn't have some, you know, constructive things to say. So I totally agree with that. Yeah, for good, for sure. Some of the apps that I use for like flight comparisons is Skyscanner and Webjet, and you know, and it comes up with lots of obscure other booking agencies. So one has to be quite, have your antenna up a bit, because you know, if there's Flying with Jane or something, and I thought, I actually did book through that, but it was very obscure and I didn't do it straight away. I checked it out, but it was a lady by the name of Jane had set up this online travel agency. So I thought, oh, you know, one for the ladies. So I booked with her and it all went smoothly. But there are some very obscure names to be wary of as well. So, you know, you don't sort of tread lightly in some areas for sure. But yeah, it's all good. So thanks to TripAdvisor. I like
Erith
that.
Erith, you had
I was just going to comment back in 2012, TripAdvisor was my Bible. So
Right.
I went to TripAdvisor for everything, to get the reviews, places
Yep.
to stay. You know, when I knew we were going to be staying somewhere, I'd go into TripAdvisor. for their recommendation of the best place to stay there and all of that.
Yes.
But
yes,
you know,
yes.
I've used it less and less over the years.
Me too.
I think people are using it less and less. I think some of the reviews aren't that recent.
Yep.
Um, So it is not. It's not quite, you know, as
What it
popular
was.
Maybe
as it
everyone
was.
forgot about it over the last 4 years while
And
we
also,
weren't travelling so
you know,
much.
there's so many other things that have popped up in the digital world, like booking.com pretty well rules the accommodation line. And I work for two accommodation, or provide support anyway, to two accommodation places in Walpole. And I set up their website and their online reservation system and their booking.com and Expedia accounts and all of that. But sometimes it's difficult to actually deal with them once you've set the accommodation place up. If you wanted to customize or only take part of what they offer, all of a sudden they can't speak English, or they just forget the emails to rejig the thing. So, you know, they've got different plans for guests, you know, they've got genius rates and things like that. And some of those, you know, accommodation places actually get conned. And but you know, they pay for the advertising, and the accommodation places pay a commission for the bookings. So, you know, you get what you pay for. And I think sometimes people just have to be realistic in all of this. I'll just tell you one thing as an adjunct to TripAdvisor. There's an online booking platform mainly for tours called Viator. And it is absolutely magic. Viator. It is owned by TripAdvisor, and I've used it in several countries. So worldwide, and it's absolutely magic. If they have sort of multiple time frames for guided tours of some famous place, and maybe the tour gets booked out, they'll actually send one of their drivers in a car to allow you to still take part in it at your preferred time. So they really go all out, and they use local drivers so that, you know, they've got the local knowledge as well. And because it's owned by TripAdvisor, it's quite reputable with the money side of it and everything. So that's good. Oh.
I use one called Kayak that I can just forward from my inbox, and all of my itinerary goes in there. That's been quite easy. It has live feeds from the airline, so if there are gate changes or flight changes, etc. And of course, your airline apps are always very good. So Virgin will give you alerts when they're changing gates, etc. So yeah, they're useful.
And I
Has
used a similar one called Trip IT. And
Yep.
so everything from, you know, the airlines, the accommodation, everything, you just email it. You get it into your normal email from the airline or wherever, and then you just forward it to your Trip IT account, and it just formulates into the itinerary, and you can see where you need to be the next day or whatever. Reminders, has a map so that you can see, you know, knife and fork that's a restaurant booking, and all of the rest of it, you know. And it's just absolutely magic, really is. Like Teagues, it gets the updates as well, the alerts.
The other thing when you're traveling is to have like a cloud-based folder with your trip documents in it. I think is a useful thing to do. If you have a paper copy as well, but if they get lost, then you've got your cloud version, and then that can be across multiple devices if you share it with your traveling companions, so that you've got your PDFs of your tickets and your a scan of your passports if you're traveling overseas, and your important documents. So making sure that they're somewhere that you can get, even if you lose your lose your document or you lose your phone, you've got access online if you can get back into your accounts. So yeah. Has anyone run any classes like this at their clubs? Are you across the resources on the Be Connected topic library? they have quite, I'll just share with you on here. Let me just get to the share. So on here we have got, let me just put you where I can see all. So under the eSafety version of Be Connected website, we go to the browse content, which is just here. And you can search for the topics in there. You can see it's the view has changed a lot in the last 6 months. I've done a bit of a zhuzh up, so it's really good. But you can search for the researching your trip. So if I just put in there price comparisons, because that's where you want to start. If I click on that, it can show you there's an article and there are 2 online courses in there. So the article on how to save money on petrol, because I'm assuming each state and territory has its own fuel watch type site. So we definitely do. We've got the cheapest fuel in the Kimberley, just saying, if anyone's travelling through this dry season. It's going to be beautiful this year with all of this rain. It's going to be very green. But we've got everything from researching your trip, so we can have a look. How can the internet help? I'm pretty sure most of you. I mean, we could set up a whole class just on preparing to travel. What is it that we're going to look at? So we've got a brief intro into the internet. I'm sure that you all know how the internet can be useful, but this might be good for newbies that are coming in. Getting inspired, there's some things in there. So one of the things that they've suggested is Google Earth. So you might be able to run a session just on Google Earth. And if you've already got the resources for yourself, then you don't sort of need to worry. But if you haven't, the topic library has everything that you might need to run those classes. And if you haven't already got Be Connected grant funding, I'm more than happy to have a chat. We're still funded as capacity builders until the end of May. So more than happy to have a chat about the Be Connected topics and how to apply for the grant funding if you haven't already at your club. So yeah, I've just had a poke around Google Earth this morning, and this is it's of course it's account based, so you need to sign in to have access to some of these things, but this is a GPS track that somebody sent me to one of the spots. So Kununurra is down the bottom here, you can see it's down there, and even though it doesn't look like it's very far, that's about a 4-hour 4-wheel drive track, so waypoints and so forth all through it. So if you are coming back in the dry season only for that one, there's a whole bunch of waypoints there, but you can collaborate with other people. So Jude, when you were trying to plan your driving trip, you could all sign into your Google accounts, and there's a new trip here. We could create a project. I haven't done this before, so let's see how this goes. Create the project is saved to the ASCCA AU Google Drive, and then let's have a look and see how we can. I suppose you would just go in. Let's make a Gibb River Road. This is how I learn how to do these things. And you just have a play around with it. And so then we would maybe put in, let's search Google Earth, Gibb River Road, Durack, that's us. Oh, it's smack in the middle of it. So we've found the road, so you could pop your waypoints in there. So there's pluses there. You can add a folder, so you could add a folder for each of your campgrounds. Most of our campgrounds don't take bookings. It's a turn because there's no mobile service mostly out there. Mind you, with Starlink, that's all changing. So yes, and there's also a topic in here about booking your travel and accessing your finances while you're on the road and paying for travel. So there's a nice little intro there. So there's some really useful topics and activities in the topic library for anyone who's wanting to use the Be Connected resources. There are session plans, and as a rule, they would have in each of these activities, there'll be session notes as well that you can either email to your participants or you could print out and give to them for them to take notes on, etc. as well while you're going through. So there's a transcript there from the video. Yeah. Does anyone run anything like that on their, no, at their clubs? Would it be useful? Save you doing all the lessons, mapping them out, they're all there written.
I reckon it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It
Really
is.
great. Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course
And
it
we
is.
did a while back, we did a session on Google Earth, and we got stacks of people that were interested
That's good.
to see, but this was a
Yeah.
couple of years, but this was just before COVID hit, the Google Earth thing, yeah. And then, and we, we got so many people that were interested in Google Earth, and we did the demo just like you showed, yeah, and whether people took it in or not, I don't know, but they were happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
showed interest. Yeah.
It can
yeah,
save your tracks and things like that
Yeah.
in the Google Earth app. So,
Yeah,
and with your
yeah.
Google account and your Google Maps, you can save points as well. You
Yeah.
can pop in. So maybe it's time due to get those people back in and say, okay, you're allowed to travel again. Let's go
Mhm.
back and see where you wanted to go and
Yeah.
get the planning happening. So, yeah.
On the finance side, I just want to share something that happened to me personally a couple of years ago. A friend and I went to Singapore and Penang, which is my two favourite places on earth. And my dad is very elderly, and I'm at his place now. He's soon to turn 102. So I might have to duck out soon and make him a cup of tea or something. So he lives on his own, but my daughter supports him. Anyway, we have a bit of a ritual in supporting him. And my daughter rings 7:30 in the morning, 12 o'clock lunchtime, and I ring at 5:30 doesn't matter where I am or what I'm doing, I ring at 5:30. So here I am over. Singapore was okay, but Penang and rest of Malaysia wasn't. I thought it was easier for contactability to retain my own mobile phone, so I didn't get a special Asia SIM when I got over there. So I kept it and I paid Telstra $180, thanks very much, for the extended coverage that I would have been given for Asia. And that part was all good, except at the other end, you would think that Asia is right up there, top of the wazza mobile connectability. Let me tell you, it isn't. I was hanging out a 5-story window trying to get reception and shouting, and 3 hours on phone back to Australia with Telstra. And I can honestly tell you it was the biggest waste of $180 I have ever had. And I think I'd bite the bullet and just buy a cheap little phone that I can pop a little SIM in whichever country, for a month's worth for $30 or something, and just broadcast the new number out for a limited time. So that was one trap. I outsmarted myself on that one, for sure, definitely.
Well, maybe
But
that's
my friend
good
outsmarted
tip.
herself on the money side. So
Yeah.
be careful on the money side, the plastic cards. A lot of the Australian, well, especially like Bendigo, because country we're with Bendigo, they don't like using their cards overseas. So you have to have a few backups as well. Sorry, Teek, go on.
No, well, maybe that's a good topic to run at your club, is how to use your phone overseas safely. So a lot of the newer models of phones have dual SIM capabilities. So you can keep your Australian SIM in and just buy a prepaid data SIM for while you're traveling, or a prepaid SIM. The last overseas trip I did was New Zealand just before COVID. And my actual SIM for Telstra is an eSIM. So that means I could just buy one of the New Zealand prepaid ones and pop that in. And so people could ring me on both numbers. and it was up to me whether I answered the Australian one, because that would cost extra money. So I'm just having a look in there to see whether there's one in the topic library called Going Overseas and how data works when traveling overseas. Will my device work? Does data cost more? Getting ready to travel, staying in touch. And then you've got things like WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, where you
That's right,
can
you have now. Mm.
or SMSs, and then it's not going through the Telstra network but using the data. Obviously, if you are overseas and you need to access your online banking, you don't want to be using the free Wi-Fi. That's probably the absolute last resort to use that. You could run sessions on how to set up a VPN so that as a last resort you could actually do that, but it's easier if you just buy a cheapy eSIM or a cheap prepaid SIM for the country you're in. We did that in the US. We just bought their a prepaid on T-Mobile. I think that's how they say it. I'd say
Yeah.
T-Mobile, but you know, that's my
We had that
Aussie
too
accent.
once. Mm.
Yeah, and then you've got access to both, and you can still sort of stay on your WhatsApp, etc., while you're away, but use the American data or the foreign country's data on your phone. So
And
not having to-
some accounts, we found out to our dismay once, never again, that depending on how your account is set up with the telco, if you go overseas, it might be that you automatically switch over your whole plan to whatever country you're in. So you're accruing horrendous bills. It's called bill shock. All you have to do is Google bill shock and it'll tell you all about how not to do it. And $1,200 later, how not to do it. I know, definitely, yes. I didn't do it, my husband did. But I have to give it to Telstra. In the end, they actually cut him off. And we're floating around in some obscure ocean somewhere. And it was going through the ship's satellite connection. But anyway, that's what they did. They saw what had happened to the account, automatically switched over. And when you're only partly tech savvy, well, when you're married to someone who's quite a lot more than you, you always take a back seat. I know he did. So, you know, he just thought that it was okay. And he was on the ship's Wi-Fi and he wasn't. So, yeah, there's pitfalls out there for sure, definitely. But they only have to hit their hip pocket once and you never do it again.
True. Has anyone else got any other, like I use the flights.google.com to compare prices, and then I'll go to my travel agent as a rule, because we're in a small town and small businesses, particularly after COVID, have been struggling. So she's been amazing for us, but it's good to know what's available and what time schedules, etc., are around, so that you are good to go. You know, sort of, you know, the ballpark figure. So, yeah.
We don't have a travel agent. Well, that's nothing unusual. We don't have anything really. And that's why the internet is so essential. And we did used to have a travel agent who came out one day a week from another town, but that was quite popular. But I think COVID has changed everything to the degree where an awful lot of things will never go back to what it was. And the empowering of people, not just seniors, but people generally, to become more self-sufficient on the internet and more tech savvy. And so they're in charge of their own destiny now, some too much so. But I think, you know, in rural and remote areas particularly, and I suppose in built up areas too, you know, everybody just does their own thing these days. And, you know, if you make a mistake, well, you learn from it. But you get that satisfaction that you've done it yourself as well. So it's good. I'd thoroughly recommend it. So are there any more apps on the
So is everyone able to see that notes document on the top. So there's a little icon at the top that says notes. And I've
Yep.
just popping some links in there for the Be Connected topics.
Good.
I put everyone's name in there if you want to put where you're coming in from against that. I'm interested to see how this stuff all works. So see if it's a useful tool function of Teams that everyone can contribute in there. So you should be able to pop things in there.
I should tell you that Teak is showing off today because she's been to a Teams workshop on
Training course,
ha-
yeah. on
training
Friday.
course on how to get better results out of Teams. So that there's an awful lot of talk out there, you know, that it's sort of a bit behind the 8 ball compared to Zoom, and it was, but they're trying their darndest to lift it up. And so you're the first lot
I
who've
think
had
for Teams,
sample of
there's
this.
just so many things in there, and you've got easier when you know how access to your OneDrive documents and bits and pieces and the collaboration stuff in there. Zoom is starting to bring that in as well, but we were just using Zoom as a straight point-to-point or one-to-many video function, whereas Zoom is now doing all sorts of other things. You can plug other bits and pieces into it, and so is Teams. So just about us getting our heads around how it's going to work best for us, and if there are tasks that need to be generated in here, we can pop them in. It's whether I can find them at the end of it is the important question. So
Well,
this
we'll put
is
you to the
Can
test.
can I just ask where you're putting, because I can't see anything on my screen.
Okay.
You said notes. Is it on the top bar?
Well, it is on mine, Erith.
And
Are
mine.
you using a browser or using the Teams app?
Browser.
Okay, so maybe on the side in the browser?
Nope, I've just got participants on the side, that's all.
Is there a bunch of 3 dots that says more?
There's a bunch of 3. I've had a look. There's nothing in there. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've just got meeting info, record and transcribe.
Oh, I'm saying she can't see any notes.
Language and maybe I just need to get the app.
Well, it's interesting for me too, because I wonder if you're all guests, whereas Jenny and I can see it. So whether it's just us that can see it, because
Yeah, well,
we're
you're
on.
right. I can't see either, Teak. I'm using not an app. I'm using the browser, and
Yeah.
I can get meeting chat, but
Yep.
but no, nothing to do with notes. It doesn't
Okay,
come up.
it's to the right of
Okay.
chat, not immediately. So the bar that we've got says chat, people, raise your hand, react, view, then notes, then apps, then more,
Yeah, well, it
and then
doesn't
3
do that.
dots.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
what you've read out is correct, but doesn't have notes.
Okay.
Doesn't have
Okay.
notes.
Okay,
Mm.
maybe
Alright,
we
so
need to
that
learn
must
how to
be-
share those.
Well, that must
Or maybe
be. So
they're
I
for
can see you in there. Here we go. I can see who has access. Hang on.
We can write in the chats where we're from,
Yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
because I can see Ralph did that. Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh no,
Yeah,
yeah.
sure.
I just
It's
figured
all
out how
in
to
there.
turn that on.
Yeah,
But it's
maybe
automatically.
It looks
It's
like
sort of
only
on-
Take and I've got access to that.
Can
Yes.
I just make a comment?
With
Navigator?
meeting chat, it's already
Yes.
it automatically with
No,
Did you
they're
know
not.
that? We didn't write it in there.
sorry, you didn't write what in the chat?
In the column that indicates meeting chat, that
Mhm.
it just
Marilyn's
automatically comes up with who's joined. We didn't enter it in.
Okay. Yep. Ralph's got his hand up. I can see. Yes, Ralph.
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Yep.
I thought you'd be interested. my reception of the picture on the screen is much clearer this month than it has ever been before. I mean, it's only been a couple of months anyway, but
Yeah.
it's just markedly clearer. I don't know if that's any interest to you.
Good.
So is that everyone, Ralph, or just certain people?
Well, I've got it clicked on view with whatever that group is. It's called Together Mode.
Okay, yep. So Jenny is a lot clearer than she normally is because she's on internet in Perth rather than her satellite. And
Yeah.
Marilyn's picture is beautiful and clear. So you must have great internet, Marilyn. Ken,
Can I-
yours is a good pick.
Can
Yeah,
I just say I can't see Marilyn at all?
she's just come back on screen. She had her camera muted before.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Marilyn.
But yeah, so if you do go to the view, which would be in your browser or somewhere,
I
and
can't
you
hear
can
you.
change. Oh, who, me? You, me?
It's just you're going off. Yeah, it's sort of a minute you're on and then you're off. It's sort of intermittent. Your
Oh,
voice.
is anyone else? Is
No.
everyone else having the same
Might be
problem?
your
No?
internet, Judy, because she's
Well,
coming through.
it's only just started to happen.
Right.
Ah, it is raining again. Just saying.
Oh, goodness.
Surprise, surprise.
Yeah. So
Well, it'll be interesting to see how my
yours
picture
is great. Jen.
shapes up in the future because, as Teek said, at home I've got a few satellite dishes on the roof. Don't even live in mobile range, so my internet is via Sky Muster Plus through the ISP IP Star, and NBN Australia-wide is revamping and improving and extending the whole NBN coverage. And they have started, hallelujah, with satellite. And as from 1st of February, my account, well, up until 1st of February, my account was 25 megabits down and 5 up, which was a pretty stock standard. I mean, I'm sure that's what my dad gets here in Perth. And without any extra pleading, borrowing, begging, anything, all of a sudden, with a letter to advise, 1st of February, my speed went to 100 down and 5 up. I couldn't care less what the 5 up is because it's quite sufficient, but 100 down, I really think that NBN is going all out in competition with these TV shows that are streaming everywhere, and it precluded the download for satellite, precluded regional people being able to take part in that streaming, and so much more, like YouTube and everything. So not just the TV channels that stream. So anyway, I did a speed test last week before I left home, and actually it went 102. Never in the history of Walpole has speed been 102 down.
How
So
good.
you got to go really fast to keep up with it. I think in some probable city areas, I remember in the ASCCA office in Pitt Street, they were in the lower ground floor, and it was a multi-storey brick building, Pitt Street, and the reception there was just absolutely atrocious because of all the buildings, because they couldn't get, NBN, and a lot of even ridges used to have satellite dishes on their roof, and like there's things for and against living in the bush and living in the city, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that because I know that NBN is being upgraded Australia-wide. They're spending mega dollars on it. And I think, they probably realised they needed to stay in the game. Otherwise, they'll just get phased out. And it didn't hurt, having Starlink come into the picture as well. And that was on special a few months ago, and local people in Walpole were able to, get it for just a couple of $100. and they ship it there, plug it in, install it yourself, and away you go.
Yeah.
So you don't need the big boys.
Anyone in the group on Starlink?
No.
No? All in built up areas with fixed line services or fixed wireless. So, yeah.
I've never heard of Starlink.
Oh, right. It's Elon Musk's
Elon Musk.
company that has put, so a lot of people are posting on social media strings of lights in the sky lately, and so people are freaking out a little bit, but there's just Elon and his satellites providing super fast internet around the globe. So yeah.
Well, our local hotel has put Starlink in because the whole town of Walpole has fixed wireless, and that's shared bandwidth. So the whole town has to share the bandwidth that's coming from the tower. So, you know, it rains almost as much in Walpole as it does in Kununurra, and heavy rain. So that blocks out the signal quite often. And then when you're sharing it with every man and his dog who lives in Walpole, you know, the accommodation places who offer free Wi-Fi to their guests who come from all over the world to see the Walpole wilderness, they can't even, you know, send an email or do WhatsApp, you know, back to their families. So they need, you know, to have this basic connection for sure, because it's accepted and requested and expected worldwide. Absolutely.
So I just want to show you quickly, this could be a new retirement career for anyone, being a, you know, grey nomad travel blogger, because you have Starlink. If you get the Roam version, you can, I had people, I'm on a Canning Stock group, which is a desert track where there is very little reception at the beginning of the track and the end of the track, let alone in the middle of the track, there's none. So, but people are posting daily about their travels in the middle of the Great Sandy Desert. So it's a game changer.
One of our member clubs, Julie Novotny, she's got Starlink, and she has a sort of a mobile sort of tuition group club. Yeah. And she goes all over the place, and she's been on the club's forum before, so she's got Starlink on top of her mobile home.
Yeah, so that might be another class you could hold for people planning trips, is how to book the Roam on the go Starlink, and how to set that up, and how to make sure that you've got your little own hotspot wherever you are.
And they can still watch Netflix out in the Never Never and all the rest of it.
You don't want to encourage that too much. You just want to watch the bush telly when you're out in the bush.
Well, I don't think you'll need to watch it at all, but some people do. Not me, that's all. You've got to cater for everybody.
You could keep up when the Eagles are flogging, you know, the Brisbane Lions or anything, and the footy coming up. Is that...
Don't say that. There's a Walpole boy in Brisbane Lions.
So yeah, there's all sorts of opportunities to run classes and so forth with technology for travel. Anyone else have anything that they would like to bring in? Shall we do a round robin check-in, see how everyone's tracking? Yes, Ken.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we went to America last year, and we're with Belong, which is a subsidiary of Telstra, effectively. Yep. And we took out their travel pack, which was $30 each for 2 weeks. And that was excellent, because we could also receive any SMS for banking or whatever. Yeah. Any communications, the family could ring us. Had, I think it was 3 gigabytes of data each for 2 weeks, and we were using Google Maps all over the place, and also using it for the public transit systems and so on. So for $30 for 2 weeks, which was effectively $60 for both of us for 2 weeks, that was just such good value. Yeah. And the SIM cards in America give you a separate number, of course, but you don't get your connection back to Australia with your other banks and so on. So, so yeah, I'd certainly give it a 5-star rating.
So what was that called again?
Belong. B-E-L-O-N-G.
Oh, yeah.
Belong.
It's
just a telecommunications provider. We've been with them for years. Excellent. And basically it was just magic. So you'd pull into San Francisco, say, and turn on your your mobile service, and straight away you had a choice of providers, and you just
Right.
chose the one that worked.
Good,
You might
good.
have had 3 or 4 providers, and you just went, okay, first one, second one. Often the first one would work anyway
Yes.
that just came up,
Hmm.
but it was just magic. And that way you could
Fabulous.
also keep in touch with each other. You didn't have to
Yeah.
change phone numbers, because generally when you go on an organised tour, you've got to provide a phone number in advance. So that was all hunky-dory.
Yep.
Yeah, so
I,
that's
I do think dual SIM phones have changed the game there. They've made it a lot easier to be able to run that. And that's one thing that when you're away, if you've got multi-factor authentication via SMS on any of your important things, that's something
Yeah.
really important to keep in
Mm.
mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Apple Pay worked well.
Yeah,
That was
good.
excellent to
Yeah.
be able to buy transit tickets to and from airports and so on, and
Good.
getting
Making
around
it
on
so
public
easy to
transport.
part with your cash, aren't they?
So anyway, it all worked.
Oh,
Someone
very
in
good.
America actually taught me how to use Uber because,
Hmm.
you know, Whooper, we don't have Uber.
Yeah.
And we got stranded by a taxi. And so the taxi driver actually showed us how to use Uber. How's that? Not
Yeah,
the,
we
the
used
Uber
Uber.
driver who took someone else. Yeah.
Yeah, super
Awesome.
efficient, and they have the same little map with your car
Yeah.
3 blocks away, 2 blocks
And
away,
now you
time
can
of arrival.
share your trips
Right. Yeah.
with a family member. So my daughter, she lives in the city, so she quite often, if she's catching an Uber late at night, she'll share it with me so I can see where she was.
Good.
Iris was the next person who had
I
their
Yes.
hand up.
Yeah, just on overseas. We've been with Amerson. I don't know if you've heard of that. AMAYSI.
Oh, yes. Yes, yes.
So we've been with them for a long time. And they have a special roaming deal that they only introduced in April last year, and it's great, absolutely wonderful. And I can't remember the details. I'm really sorry.
Yeah.
I think it was something like $25 or $30, which it can cover like the year. And we went to Japan last year, so that was fantastic. Because we didn't need a dual SIM. We could accept phone calls. There was some sort of data thing involved with it as well. I can't remember how much data we got with it. It was really cheap. It was real, and then you can just keep upping it as you need it. But I remember the $25 or whatever it was we paid. I think we've still got money on that. And we're going overseas this year for 2 months, and we'll just, go in and put a certain amount of money to cover that period of time. But we did try dual SIMs. I know over the years we've tried that, and I much more prefer just having the one SIM. It's less complicated. It's not having to pay out the big dollars. So Amos, this deal, if any of you are ever interested.
The ASCCA phone is on a Mason. Yeah. So speaking of maps, there's an app called maps.me, and they're free. And if you know like large cities that you're going to, you can download the intricate road system, and it is accessible even when you're offline. So, if you picked out Chicago, New York, San Francisco, all of these,
and if you've got Google Maps and Apple Maps, they now have offline maps available as well, so you don't necessarily need to have the data. Yep. So I needed to use the Google one on Christmas Eve. So yeah. So yeah, the offline maps are amazing. So, but you've just got to remember to download them while you're in range. Okay, Judy, you're the next one with your hand up.
Yes, I was just wondering Ken, when you're using Belong and you went overseas, did you need a dual SIM card? SIM cards?
No, because you're taking your own SIM card with you.
Yeah. Okay, and that's exactly what you've done, Iris, with Amazon too. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have international travel packs available on the plans, do they? So it's about checking which ones.
Yeah.
Which ones got the most.
It's very cheap.
Yeah.
I was amazed because, you know, I've always been shocked at how much Telstra and
Yeah.
all the companies charge. I just, you know, we had my daughter and her family came out here and they were so happy. They were being charged with whoever they were over in London. They live in London. It was £5 a day. And I just thought, God, that's a lot of money. You know?
I think Telstra's international pack is about $10 a day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not a
Well,
cheap
I paid
exercise.
180 for 2 weeks.
Crikey.
Yeah, well, they're paying $25 to $30 for a couple of weeks.
No,
Mind
no,
you.
my $25 or
Shop
$30
around.
was that goes for a whole year. And
Oh,
you just,
does it?
yeah, it's not because that's something else. You can buy these things and there's a time restraint. But what we've got with Amazon is just you buy this package, you've got a year to use it up. And you know, but you can top it up if you need to. But there's no time restriction on it. So
Well, what about you, Ken, with Belong? You said it was available for a couple of weeks when you went overseas.
That's right. Yeah, because we've already got a plan anyway.
Mm.
I'm on a $15 plan, but they've doubled that since in the last couple of years. So if you signed up, it'd be a $30 a month plan to use it within Australia. But then it's another $30 for 2 weeks, and that's in multi-countries throughout the world.
But then you can top it up after 2 weeks.
You can top it up after 2 weeks, and it's immediate. So you can top it up on the 14th day, and straight away you've got more data and another 150 minutes of phone calls, I think it was, internationally. So it was excellent.
Sounds good. So good.
Yeah, it was just handy that we didn't have to change SIM cards at all, and it's activated as soon as you arrive in your country and you connect. So it's from 14 days from that point.
Excellent.
So it was just so handy. It was just so convenient. So if you're away, you know,
Belong covers a lot of countries. I say Belong covers a lot of countries.
They
too,
do.
Does it?
Yeah, just look up the list.
Yeah. One other app that I used was called Rome to Rio, and it works everywhere in the world, and you obviously knows your location by the built-in GPS, and then you key in, a bit like Google, as where you want to go to, and it comes up with the options of if you're going to walk, this is the map, how you walk quickest and how long it'll take, by car, by bus. This is the bus number, and it tells you where the bus stop is and things like that. And in a city that, you know, is unbelievably huge, and you wouldn't have a clue which is east, west, north or south because of high rises, and you wouldn't, even if you knew east, west, south, you still wouldn't know which road to go. It was a wonderful sort of tool that we had in America mainly, but I have used it elsewhere too.
Is it free? Free app?
Yep. Only do free, Judy. Oh, Scrooge.
Yeah. Another one is Waze.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Waze is another one.
W-A. How do you
ZE,
spell that
I
one,
think it
Ken?
is. Yeah.
Sorry? Z-E.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Very good.
There's heaps out there.
There is. And more coming as well. And this is what I think, you know, little forums like that, you share the knowledge and then you spread it around. It's really good. Yeah. All
Going to
good.
Harvey to train some more digital mentors, and then some more mentors in Perth the next day. And then I get to come home and do tech talk at the library. My whole week revolves around technology. It's great.
Absolutely.
We are well over time, so thank you everyone. Thanks for your attention and thanks for your input. It's been great.
I reckon it's been really interesting. Thanks for all the things I've taken note of, and we can look at it in the recording because there's a few apps there that I'll go and have a look at. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah,
okay.
excellent. All right, we'll see you next month.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
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 Bye.